understand that in resurrecting our ancestors and reconstructing our ancient cultures to make them new and modern and up to date, that we must use caution. We must use caution in selecting from those among us, our people, who are not yet qualified to pursue the mental and spiritual loftiness of a culture such as Fahana. We have to be careful who we approach about Fahana. Most of our people aren't ready. They can't handle it. Fahami leads into all things, and our people aren't ready to deal with it. So be careful when you introduce Fahami to your brothers and sisters. Creative thinking to make things happen. Willpower to stay the task, and patience to await the outcome. Understand and use these tools in communicating with our people, the so-called Negro, who have been lost and divided for millenniums now. Remember, it was our wisdom that graced the lands of Egypt, Ethiopia, Chaldea, Arabia, Canaan, and the entire torrid zone that belts the earth. The torrid zone, or the torrid belt of the mystic name, Ethiopia. You were there then, and you are here now. What does the name Fahami or the name culture imply? The name Fahami or culture implies the new civilization and salvation of the Kemite, the Hamite, the so-called Negro. We need a culture built upon the foundation of our ancient civilization, which still remains intact. The new is merely a rebirth of the old. We cannot be too redundant. But if we have to use a stick to beat them, hey, a cane, but bombard them with the words of the prophets. Bombard our European brothers and sisters with their Western mode of thought and thinking in the words that they teach our people, are still handing us a land of lies that still lead us down paths of destruction. So why shouldn't we keep repeating and bringing this message to our people? We need it, they need it. Our legal position and heritage and traditions based upon our ancestors and how they lived and achieved must be reclaimed. We must return to the holy land of Ham, or Africa, in spirit, soul, and body, and get a few ideas from how our ancestors grew to be a power among other nations. Amun-Ra is the faithful and true God of the Hamites. The Fahami Rasul is his messenger. We Fahamis are his noble representatives. As the name of our culture, the name Fahami comprises all that is best for the revival of the descendants of the ancient gods and goddesses of King. Fahami contains all of our sciences, our knowledge, traditions, our practices, philosophies, and languages. These are the things necessary for us to revamp, for us to repair our status prior to slavery and the consequent enslavement of our people. As our new culture, Fahami stresses the importance of enlisting spiritual assistance in the efforts to correct our errors of the past. This assistance is provided by entities that live their lives among us. Select people who live with you. Select people that you know. Why turn to strangers to get advice? They don't know you. Turn to your people. We need these entities so that they can provide us and develop us, develop our character, our faculties, abilities, knowledge, and understanding, and be successful in our endeavors. These spiritual guides are our noble ancestors, ancient and modern. If our deceased racial guides are not noble, then they are not worthy of our emulation. They are not worthy of our adoration. They are not worthy of our remembrance. If they are not noble in soul and spirit, then they have not been enlisted in the service of the Most High God Amun-Ra and his angels. If they are not noble, then there is no sanction to what they offer us. Don't pay them any attention. They are not sanctioned. Meaning they cannot inspire and direct the living to nobility. The Hamites been wasting a lot of time following charlatans down a dead-end street. The race has been hasn't been going anywhere. I told my mother the other day, it's no kind of white preacher at this time can lead me any kind of road that's supposed to be toward salvation. No way. No way. Now, the future, maybe, because I have no qualms about white folks in that light. But not right now. Not today. Not today. Not now. Maybe in the distant future. But I'm speaking, in my mind went back as a church right down the street from where I live, where the pastor's white and the majority of his congregation is Kemet. He couldn't lead me toward what he calls heaven. No way. How can someone who is not sanctioned how can they teach the living to be godlike, gods and goddesses, helpers of others in distress, speaking words of wisdom and understanding? They cannot teach the living to become an elect of God. Thus, our new culture, which is Fahami, is based upon ancestor worship. Ancestor worship instructs us in giving the reverence that is due to our noble ancestors. Fahami means culture and salvation, as well as understanding. Fahami is at once civil and religious, ancient and modern. O ye sons and daughters of the Most High, peace and blessings of the Most High